Welcome to the Boomer's Guide to a Vibrant Life with Vicki Washburn. Vicki and her guests will share their journey of the golden years and how they're creating a vibrant life. Topics will include family, fun, life, love, travel, and everything Boomer. You too can have the best of your vibrant life now. We are broadcasting from Global Voice Radio every week, and now here's your host, Vicki Washburn.
Hello, everyone. This is Vicki Washburn with A Boomer's Guide to a Vibrant Life. And tonight I have Monica Murray with me. And let me just tell you a little bit about Monica. Monica was born and raised in the great state of Oklahoma. Although she enjoys traveling the world for both work and pleasure, she also comes home to the land of her heritage. After earning her bachelor's degree from the University of Oklahoma, she went on to receive an esthetician's license and a master's degree in this field, which enabled her to fulfill the goal of owning a successful spa business. In this endeavor, she helped clients maintain beautiful skin, healthy bodies, and overall well-being. As Monica gained training and experience, the focus gradually shifted to the mind-body-spirit connection. On a continuing basis, she studies subjects including tapping, meditation, Reiki, chakra balancing, spirituality, relationship building, and peace resolution. Her private practice revolves around the art of subtle healing and empowering people to develop wonderful lives while serving themselves, their communities, and the greater good. The concepts she holds dear and endeavors to share with others are presented through individual consultations, group sessions, and large-scale interactions. In conjunction with practical application, she writes, teaches, and speaks publicly about these areas of interest. In addition to pursuing her PhD in philosophy, Monica's passions take her to many places, allowing for discovery and celebration of diverse cultures and traditions. Curiosity and compassion propel her into an ever greater understanding of humanity and the value of living to enjoy every moment. To ensure balance in her personal existence, Monica meditates daily, cherishes time with friends and family, and picks up a paintbrush to splash color on canvas whenever possible. Welcome, welcome, my friend. I am so excited to share a little bit about you and what you do and how you do it with my audience tonight. So tell me what got you interested in this area of healing and teaching and kind of what led you down this path.
All right. Thank you, Vicki. It's so good to be here with you. I started tapping many years ago. A friend of mine, Keely Mancuso, was doing it, and she introduced me to it, and we practiced a little bit, and I got some amazing results, and I was just astounded by this. And so I tapped throughout the years, and eventually got enough experience behind me that I thought, well, I can start teaching this to other people. So my first formal class was in 2014. So I've been teaching for a few years now on the tapping methods. And then over time, I just have perfected this and worked with clients and then just written about it and taught it and just learned more and more about it and what was more efficient and what worked the best for people. So then I just began to kind of morph, and I didn't realize how much that was happening until I would go back and do a little continuing ed or something and realize I was way off of the original protocol. And so then I just came up with my own method of tapping, and there's a few distinctions between that and mainstream tapping. But I'm always just looking for the most efficient method that really gets the client a good, successful outcome.
So tell me about when you first started experiencing tapping, just to kind of give everybody an idea of what they could expect if they did a tapping session.
Right.
Kind of what do most people experience? Is it is it a physical thing? Is it a emotional thing?
Right. They come for various reasons, all of the above. And we just customize it into what they need on that particular day. And a lot of times almost always there's an emotional just shift that happens, a switch that happens. And a lot of times if there is a physical manifestation that's occurring in the body, that will ease up and lessen sometimes. So sometimes a physical ailment brings them to me, and sometimes it's just an emotional thing that they're dealing with and they don't want to work with that anymore in their system.
So this isn't just a modality that works for emotional or stress or anxiety, those kinds of things. It can actually work to resolve issues within our body, physical issues that we feel,
right,
which are rooted probably in an emotion, but manifest themselves as a physical ailment rather than necessarily an emotional manifestation.
That's right. I think there's three basic aspects to our being: the spiritual element, the mental element, and then our physical element. And a lot of times if any of those get out of balance, then something starts to give. And many times when we have an emotional situation that we've carried with us for a long time, it begins to manifest in the body. And so if there is a direct link to that, we can usually ease that by adjusting the mental concept. By changing the perspective on that, we'll have a direct result on the physical manifestation.
When you do a tapping session with someone, well, first, let me just, because most of my audience are 50, the boomer age,
right.
Like you and I. And so this is something that anybody can do at any age, correct?
Anybody can do it. And there's a few counter considerations, but in general, anyone can do this. They can teach themselves. And if it's something that they can't quite dig deep enough, just because it's a little bit sensitive, then I would say find a trusted friend to help you with this, or go to a practitioner that can help. And then they can just be your guide or your mentor through that. But after you learn the basic thing, you can usually do most things on your own.
And it's something that even a parent could do with a child, correct?
Oh my goodness, yes. It's a wonderful thing to teach children to get centered, to get their focused attention on something. It's good to teach them so that if something happens during the day that's a little bit upsetting to them, they know how to reground themselves and get focused back on what they're there to do. And it can kind of relieve some anxiety sometimes. And it's a wonderful tool for just getting calm and centered again.
Before we actually jump in and kind of do a little mini session here, can you kind of explain to us why it is that tapping works like it does? What does it do to the person that results in a positive effect?
I like to think of tapping as the bridge. It gives access to and from the physical and the mental avenues in our body. So tapping is kind of an energetic link that connects the energy of the physical body with the energy of the mind. And so it's that bridge that helps connect those two. So it follows the ancient Chinese meridian system, just like acupuncturists use, where they put the needles. Well, we use the same tapping points and those same meridians that energy travels throughout the body on those, I think of them like little highways or roads. And we use those same meridian system, except we are just tapping on it lightly as opposed to the insertion of needles or acupressure.
And then it's more than just actually tapping physically. There's affirmations or what do you call them?
Right. And if we have time, I'll tell you a little bit of a distinction I like to make between affirmations and what we do. But there's basically 3 steps to it that I like to follow. And the first one is just acknowledging the current pattern, the thinking pattern that's in our mind. So if something happens, like physically in the world, something happens and we kind of react to it, then a lot of times we just go through this automatic process in our brain. It's just in a split second that happens, and then we think of a disaster or an alarm or whatever. And so what tapping does, you go in and find the exact wording that's in your head when that event happens and you're triggered. And that may be legitimate or valid. There's a reason that that happened, the reason that that got into your brain somewhere along the way. And so we go in and identify that. And if it's not serving you well, if you're getting this automatic response, it's always a train wreck or always a disaster, then we go in and we can do what I say is called hit the reset button. So we can find a little bit different language about that. And then in the second step, we kind of transition, that's the bridge. And then in the third step of tapping, the third round of tapping, we would find some language that's the goal. It's like, what would you think a good outcome would be? And so step 2 is bridging step 1 and step 3 together. So by the end, you've got some language that serves you better, so that each time something happens, because life's going to go on, the world's still going to turn. And so these things are going to continue to happen more than likely, but you won't be triggered into that same disastrous result. You'll be able to look at each situation, analyze it, and decide what you want to do at this particular moment. And then at the end, once we get those words, they're more loving words that serve our situation better, then we can call those reminders. You just can condense that down to maybe a phrase or a sentence or two. And so I call those reminders, so that when real life things happen, like, the phone's still going to ring, people still have lives. And so when that trigger happens, you can go to your reminder, and that lets you helps you to decide what you want to do in that particular case, as opposed to just that automatic response.
Right.
So programs the brain. I've always kind of said, if we have the ability to program something into our brain, that's a beautiful thing, because that means we can reprogram our brain.
Right. So is there a connection between the actual physical tapping and saying the words? Is there a reason that they do both?
Yes, there is. And there's a lot of scientific studies on why this actually works, and they can document what's actually happening in the brain. But in the simple version of that is, when we tap on the meridians, we're kind of stimulating those particular areas that are all linked to different things within our body. And what it does, it's like shaking the tree. It shakes everything up and lets the fruit fall down. So those words that have been maybe coping skills or helped us in the past, are something that we've brought into our present day that maybe don't serve us as well as they used to. We can kind of shake our brain a little bit and let that kind of, it's kind of a ripple effect. It can either bubble to the top or ripple out, however you want to think about that. And then we have the ability to go in and put the words in that we want to put in there that are associated with this thing that might have triggered us.
So it's basically a very simple way to take a negative experience or a negative thought or a trauma that has left us with a negative thought.
Right.
And you kind of use it initially to find that trauma.
Right.
And you take it and move to a more positive acknowledgement of what the situation is now. I know so many of us, will have an experience as a child, and we have a reaction to it as a child, but it gets rooted in us, and we react that same way to anything that's similar, but we're no longer a child. So
Right.
we don't need to react that way anymore, because now we're an adult. We have the capability of doing something different, but we've never really acknowledged it. So we continue to react as a child.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a good way to transition from that old reaction to a new one without, it's pretty simple.
It's very simple. It's a very gentle approach. And probably the toughest part is that first step where we get to the actual language that's in your head right now. And we always kind of know when we hit that, because there's a little spike of emotion there. You can feel when you've hit that spot. And we don't stay there. We just know that we've found it. So that's good. We found our target, and we move on. So that's probably the worst part of it all. And that's not even horrible usually at that point, but we move right on past that. There's no need to stay there and re-traumatize yourself with that, which is basically what we've been doing for years and years and years with those old things that trigger us. And we have that same fear that we had at the moment that we put that in our head. And so there's no need to stay there anymore and re-traumatize ourselves.
Well, shall we do a little session?
That'd be great.
Okay, what shall we do a session on?
Well,
About this.
okay, give me something kind of simple for you that, I mean, we don't want to dig deep into any big childhood thing right in
No,
this.
no.
But,
You know, I was thinking today, and this may be too broad, but you know, one of the things that I know it's really easy for people our age to do, and it's not a very healthy thing to do, and that is say, I am old.
okay,
So let's do it on I am old.
okay, I am
I think most of us, when we say that, kind of have a negative reaction to it.
Yeah, that stings a little sometimes.
It does. And I don't want to be old.
Okay, well, let's see what we can do about
I want
that,
to be young and vital.
which is what you are. Okay, let's see here. So when something happens, like tell me something that happens in the real world that makes you think, ooh, I'm old.
Okay, this weekend I spent Friday, Saturday, and Sunday last weekend with my sisters at my mother's house, cleaning out the house, setting up for a garage sale, doing the whole time the garage sale is going on, we're continuing to clean and pull stuff out. And I got home, I swear it took me 3 days to recover. And about Sunday afternoon, when I thought I was going to drive home, I thought, dang, I'm old. I should not be this tired. And I decided to spend the night and get up early and drive in on Monday morning instead of trying to drive home on Sunday night, because I honestly did not know if I'd be able to get out of the car once I got home.
Okay.
So tired and wore out physically and emotionally and mentally. And so, you know, just that whole thing, it was like, dang, I shouldn't be feeling it like this.
And there probably was more than just the physical stuff. I mean, when you're going through family memories and, you know, you're around family and all that. So there probably was an emotional element to that too, you know, like you had mentioned. Then that kind of makes you tired sometimes.
Yeah.
So earlier you had said, I don't want to think about myself being old. I want to be active and vibrant. Were those some good words for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would your goal want to be instead of that reaction of I'm old? What would the good thing you would want to come into your head be? I'm active and vibrant?
I'm active and vibrant. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's let that be our goal then. So our step 1 is I'm old, and our step 3, the goal is I'm active and vibrant. So we'll find a bridge for step 2 and just make our way to that. So we sometimes use a number system, like when you think about what happened this weekend, and then I was tired and worn out and all that. And if 1 was kind of like, it bothered me a little bit, and 10 was like, woo, that really got me.
If I was 10, I could barely move.
So what would your, like the level of like anxiety or, you know, being disgusted about that or whatever, what number would that be?
Oh, I would say probably about an 8 or 9.
Okay, well, let's go with that then. And what term would you use for that? It made me mad, or?
It made me exhausted. I just was exhausted.
Okay.
And then I got irritable because nobody would be quiet and let me go to bed. You know, I just wanted to go to bed.
Okay. So when you think about I'm old, or someone might say that, or something happens that makes you think that, does it make you, what kind of feeling comes up with that? Is that disappointing, or are you sad about it, or?
It's kind of fearful. Old is kind of scary.
Okay, fearful and scary. So what's the fear about? What, if you took that all the way to the end, what are you scared of?
Probably not being able to care for myself.
Okay.
Burden to others.
Okay.
You know, going through my mom's stuff, I just kept thinking, I don't want my kids to have to do this. So it really set me on a path to get through my house and trash a bunch of stuff and So they don't, because I just kept thinking, I just do not want my children to do this.
Okay. So you're going to take steps to avoid that.
Hopefully. So it just, it just kind of was a fear thing.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Fearful because I didn't have the energy that I wanted to have. And
okay. Okay. I'm making a few notes here.
And I want to tell everybody too, as we're going through this, we are going to post a PDF of the tapping points. So as we go through this, as you're listening, you can look at the paper and follow along if you would like, and tap on the points that are shown on the picture that we will be posting with the link for the show tonight. So that should be easy to download, and we'll make that available to everybody. So
that's right. And I just kind of want to remind everybody that a couple of things that are kind of different as they watch our video is than most mainstream tapping that they go through. What we just went through gave us some real specific wording for you and your situation and how you're feeling about it in this very moment. And so it's not a real rote phrase or a generic phrase that's supposed to cover for everybody. This is for you. So everybody can kind of come up and tweak this. If some of the words that you said about this situation don't fit, that's perfectly fine, because they can come up with their own words. And that's how this system is a little bit different. And the other thing that I like to point out is that it's really important that we connect to a source that's a little bit higher for us than where we're at right now when we're doing this work. Because I know you and I love and admire you, but I don't know every aspect about you, and I don't have to doing this work as long as I'm relying on something a little bit wiser than me. So I always like to say a quote by Albert Einstein: "We cannot solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them." So I go to that higher intelligence and ask for some help, and then I connect with that, and then I connect with you, and then beautiful things start to happen. So,
all right,
we will get started. Okay, we were at kind of a 9-8 area as far as being fearful and a little bit scared about becoming a burden or perhaps your loss of energy. So we'll start with that 9 and an 8, and we'll tap through. So would you like me just to briefly show you the areas, or are you familiar with those?
I'm familiar. So if we want to we should talk about them. So since people aren't going to be actually seeing a video, they're just going to be hearing us. Let's be sure and tell them where we're tapping each time.
Okay. So a lot of times I like to start out, and it doesn't matter which hand you use for which, but right on the side of your palm, right down from your little finger, right on the edge of your palm, there is a little area. A lot of people call that the karate chop. And you can take your other hand and kind of curve your fingers around and hit that area with the very end of your fingers, like right behind your fingernails there, that kind of fleshy part of your fingers at the end, and tap right on the edge of your palm there. And what I like to use this area for is just to test our wording. So this first step, it's really important that we find the words that are in your head right now. And so I'll kind of prompt you with some things I wrote down, but you correct me if there's something that resonates and it seems more correct, okay?
Okay.
So we'll start out with I am old.
I am old.
I sometimes feel tired.
I am not old. I am not old. Yeah, I don't like to say the words.
How about I don't like it when I think those words, I am old?
Yeah, I don't like it when no, I don't like it.
I don't like to think of myself as old.
I don't like to think of myself as old.
Does that fit better?
Yes.
Okay. So see, that's a great way of adjusting those words to fit. So I don't like to think of myself as old.
I don't like to think of myself as old.
And when I do sometimes think about that. It's a little scary.
It's a little scary.
I start to worry that I may not be able to take care of myself and I might become a burden.
I start to worry that I might not be able to take care of myself and I might be a burden.
Okay, do those fit?
Yes.
Okay, so go to the top of your head, like if you parted your hair in the center, right at the top of your head, and take both of your hands and with the tips of your fingers, tap down that line. So you just stay right there in that center line. and just say, I don't like thinking that I might be old.
I don't like thinking that I might be old.
It kind of scares me.
It kind of scares me.
I start to worry that I might not be able to care for myself and I would become a burden to my children.
I start to worry that I might not be able to take care of myself and I might become a burden to my children.
Does that still fit?
Yes.
Okay, so go down to the next spot. It's right between your eyebrows and just up a little bit, but kind of right at the top of your eyebrows where they start in the middle.
Kind of where the third eye, what people call the third eye.
Right, kind of in there. So if you put both hands on each side of that third eye area.
Okay.
I like to think of myself as old.
I don't like to think of myself as old.
It makes me kind of fearful and I'm scared.
It makes me kind of fearful and I'm scared.
I worry that I might not be able to take care of myself and I would become a burden to my children.
I worry that I might not be able to take care of myself and I'll be a burden to my children.
So now move down to your temple with both hands and kind of tap in that temple area. I don't like to think of myself as old.
I don't like to think of myself as old.
But sometimes when I get tired, these thoughts come in.
Sometimes when I get tired, these thoughts come in.
And it's kind of scary.
And it's kind of scary.
I worry that I might not be able to take care of myself and I'll become a burden to my children.
I worry that I might not be able to take care of myself and I'll be a burden to my children.
Now go right under your eye, straight below your pupil, right on that bone right there. There you go. I don't like the thought of me getting old.
I don't like the thought of getting old.
It's kind of scary.
It's kind of scary.
I worry that I might not be able to take care of myself and I would become a burden to my children.
I worry that I might not be able to take care of myself and I'd be a burden to my children.
Are these words still fitting for you, Vicki?
Yeah.
Okay, so go right here to your fulcrum. It's right under your nose, above your lip, that center area. I don't like thinking that I might be becoming old.
I don't like thinking that I might be becoming old.
It's a little scary for me.
It's a little scary for me.
I worry that I might not be able to take care of myself and I would become a burden to my children.
I worry that I might not be able to take care of myself and I would become a burden to my children.
Okay, go right here. It's right in that little crease on your chin here, right under your lip. There you go. I don't like the thought of becoming old.
I don't like the thought of becoming old.
It's scary.
It's scary.
I think about it sometimes when I'm tired or I have that loss of energy.
I think about it sometimes when I get tired or when I have a loss of energy.
I worry that I might not be able to take care of myself.
And I worry that I might not be able to take care of myself.
And I might become a burden to my family.
And I might become a burden to my family.
Okay, and right here, right on your index finger, the very side of the outside of your finger, right where your fingernail is, right there. Just tap on that with the other finger and just say, I don't like thinking about me being old.
I don't like thinking about me being old.
It brings fear to me.
It brings fear to me.
It's scary.
It's scary.
I worry that I might become a burden to my children when I can't take care of myself.
I worry that I might become a burden to my children if I can't take care of myself.
Okay, let's stop there and take a big deep breath. Kind of let that settle in. And then tell me what your number is. It was about an 8 or a 9 last time.
I don't know, maybe 5, 4 or 5.
Okay. Good. So we're going in the right direction there. So I'll take it. And sometimes I like to tell people if that shoots up during that first round, that's okay because we found the right spot. So don't worry if it shoots up a little bit there. But the fact that it's coming down with you is good. So we'll go on to step 2 now. And this is the bridge between the words of I don't like thinking of myself as old and I get scared into I'm an active and vibrant person. And then I'm going to take steps now while I can to avoid the burden on my children as far as sorting through my things. And I'm going to donate some things and get rid of some things. So we'll bridge that. Does that sound like a good goal still?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Okay, we're heading toward I am an active and vibrant person. Okay. So we'll start right here again on the side of your palm and try. Even though my numbers are kind of going up.
Even though my numbers are kind of going up.
I'm a very active and vibrant person.
I'm a very active and vibrant person.
And I'm not going to worry about that right now
And I'm not going to worry about that right now
because I actually am able to take care of myself today.
because I actually am able to take care of myself today.
And I've got plenty of energy to sort through all this stuff,
I've got plenty of energy to sort through all this stuff,
donate it or trash it or whatever I need to do.
donate it or trash it or whatever I need to do.
So while I've got the time and the energy,
So while I've got the time and the energy,
I'm going to sort through these things in my house,
I'm going to sort through these things in my house,
and I will not become a burden to my children.
and I will not become a burden to my children.
That won't be an issue
That won't be an issue
because it will be sorted out by the time that they need to deal with it.
because it will be sorted out by the time they need to deal with it.
Because I'm an active and vibrant person,
Because I'm an active and vibrant person.
I can do that now. I can
I
start.
can do it. I can do that now.
I can start sorting.
I can start sorting.
I can take my time.
I can take my time.
Doesn't all have to be done in a weekend like at my mom's house.
Doesn't all have to be done in a weekend like at my mom's house.
So I'm not going to get tired and worn out with this project,
So I'm not going to get tired and worn out with this project,
and I won't fear that.
and I won't fear that.
I'm taking care of myself today,
I'm taking care of myself today.
and I'm going to sort through these things in my house as I can.
I'm going to sort through these things in my house as I can.
It won't be a burden for me as a project.
It won't be a burden for me as a project.
It won't be a burden for my children when they need to take care of it in the end.
It won't be a burden for my children when they need to take care of it in the end.
And I'm a vibrant and active person today.
I'm a vibrant and active person today.
And I love that feeling, knowing that I can take care of myself and my responsibilities.
And I love that feeling that I can take care of myself and my responsibilities.
And I think my kids are going to like it too,
And I think my kids are going to like it too,
because this house is going to be all sorted out.
because this house is going to be all sorted out.
I'm going to start giving things away now.
I'm going to start giving things away now,
Let other people enjoy them,
let other people enjoy them,
and be glad I don't have it in my house.
and be glad I don't have it in my house.
So this is actually a good thing.
So this is actually a good thing.
It prompted me to get going.
And it prompts me to get going.
And since I'm an active and vibrant person,
And since I'm an active and vibrant person,
I can take care of this as I please,
I can take care of this as I please,
in my own timing,
in my own timing,
making my own decisions,
making my own decisions,
and taking care of myself
taking care of myself
and my children.
and my children.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Okay.
Awesome.
What's your number now? We were at about a 5 or a 4.
Probably about a 2 or a 3.
I'll take it. That's good. So we're going to go into our next round, which is I'm an active and vibrant person.
Okay.
Is that your goal still?
Yep.
Okay, good. And do we like anything like, give me some language around, I'm going to enjoy sorting through these things, or be glad you have the ability, or that you can make the decisions, or
It will be, it will be, it will be, it will feel lighter to have this stuff gone. It will be, I don't know.
about to organize them?
Yeah, it'll feel lighter to have organization and
Okay. And less clutter?
less clutter. Yes.
And
Like the book says, the life-changing, what is the book? The life-changing something about decluttering. Yeah.
We'll look that up.
Yeah, there's a great book about it.
So it will feel lighter to have organization and less clutter in my home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Declutter.
Declutter. Okay, let's start with that.
It sounds like I'm a hoarder, but I'm really not. I just have lived in the same house for 25 years, and it's, there's just stuff stuck in nooks and crannies everywhere. So
I know. I'm kind of like you, and it's like, how did all this stuff get here? My husband said, one sack at a time.
Yeah. And one kid moving home and then not leaving with the same that he brought back, and
Right.
all that. So.
It'll be nice to bless them with their things and give their things back and pass on some other things. And
Well, I suspect since they haven't come and got it before now, they ain't going to get blessed with it. It's going to get blessed to goodwill.
somebody else will enjoy it.
Somebody else will get blessed, yes.
Right. Okay, let's start on the side of our palm again. We'll start step 3.
Okay.
I'm an active and vibrant person.
I am an active and vibrant person.
It will feel lighter to have organization
It will feel lighter to have organization
and less clutter in my home.
and less clutter in my home.
I really look forward to decluttering.
I really look forward to decluttering.
At the top of your head, I'm an active and vibrant person.
I'm an active and vibrant person.
It's going to feel lighter to have organization
It's going to feel lighter to have organization
and less clutter in my home.
and less clutter in my home.
I'm looking forward to decluttering.
I'm looking forward to decluttering.
Go to right above your eyebrows there. I'm an active and vibrant person.
I'm an active and vibrant person.
I feel lighter with less clutter.
I will feel lighter with less clutter.
I am a decluttered person.
I am a decluttered person.
I have a decluttered house.
Hallelujah.
That's right. I live in a clutter-free house.
I live in a clutter-free home.
That gives me energy just thinking about it.
That gives me energy just thinking about it.
I'm excited about this.
I'm excited about this.
Okay, go to the side of your eye, right at your temple. I'm an active and vibrant person.
I'm an active and vibrant person.
I feel so much lighter now that I'm decluttered.
I feel so much lighter now that I'm decluttered.
It's fun to come home.
It's fun to come home.
It gives me energy to see all these wonderful things
It gives me energy to see all these wonderful things
happening in my life and my home.
happening in my life and in my home.
Under your eye, I'm an active and vibrant person.
I'm an active and vibrant person.
I'm lighter because I'm decluttered.
I'm lighter because I'm decluttered.
My life is decluttered.
My life is decluttered.
My mind is decluttered.
My mind is decluttered.
Ooh, that gives me energy.
Ooh, that gives me energy.
Just thinking about it.
Just thinking about it.
I'm going to live a decluttered life from now on.
I'm going to live a decluttered life from now on.
That helps me be an active, vibrant person full of energy.
That will help me be an active and vibrant person full of energy.
Under your nose, I'm an active and vibrant person.
I'm an active and vibrant person.
My mind is decluttered.
My mind is decluttered.
My home is decluttered.
My home is decluttered.
And I live a clutter-free life.
I live a clutter-free life. Say that 10 times fast.
Under your All right, I'm an active and vibrant person.
I'm an active and vibrant person.
It feels so light to live like this.
It feels so light to live like this.
I have less stuff in my home,
I have less stuff in my home,
less stuff to think about.
less stuff to think about.
I look forward to blessing other people with these things.
I look forward to blessing other people with these things.
And I'm burden free.
And I'm burden free.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Okay, you were at a 3 or a 2. What is it now?
Oh shoot, I'm like at a 10 at the other end.
Oh, that's so good. I'll count that as a 0 on the fearful and scary part then. Is that good?
That's good, yeah.
Okay. So you can kind of see how we went from I'm old to it's about the weekend at my mom's house with my family, decluttering her home and looking at her situation and transferring that to your situation. And so then we get into scary and fearful and, oh my gosh, I'm headed in that direction, to the point where we realize we're not there right now and we can make changes. And if you start doing these things now, it frees you up. It makes you lighter and you stay vibrant. It unclutters your brain and your home. So we started out with I'm old into the fears and then how I can take action in my own life now to avoid those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's very empowering actually when you make that switch. So even if you went and cleaned out a friend's, went somewhere and cleaned out a friend's home or another relative's home, this wouldn't trigger you again, because once your house is decluttered, it won't equate anymore.
Right.
And now that you're not thinking like that, you're not even going to want to pile stuff up in your home.
Right.
So that takes the fear out of it.
Yep.
And then you broke a generational chain too. That's good. You did that at the same time.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Let's talk about that a little bit, about breaking generational chains. Because that is a very important thing as well.
Right. And just in this one little example, we went from grandmother, or your mom, the grandmother of your children. So we went from your mom to you and your sister, and then thinking about your children. So there's 3 generations involved in this one little scenario. So your mom now is to the point where she needs help, and you and your family went and helped her. And you're going to make changes so that it only enhances your life right now in the present, but it won't be a future problem that you're thinking about for the next few years. And then also you're showing your children how to do that. And if they have children, that we're even into a 4th generation. So
and see, that's the thing. My grandmother, it actually started with my grandmother, who just died 5 years ago, I think. And, she had lived in my great-grandparents' house for 30, 40 years. And she liked to collect things, but she was also of that generation of the Dust Bowl days and the crash. So she kept every little tin pan and every little plastic dish and lid and paper plate and plastic fork and everything, and my mother kind of got picked up on that a little bit too. Well, I lost my mother in October. So, as we've gone through, we've seen kind of that pattern that was kind of similar to her mom, but not quite to the extent that was her mom.
Right.
And so I can see that generational thing. And I've been very conscious of it for most of my life, because I don't want to continue in a lot of the aspects, not just the clutter aspect, but other areas that my mother carried, not necessarily just from my grandmother, but from previous generations.
Right. And that does pass down. And you're into the 3rd, 4th, 5th generation of this now. And you don't even equate that to the days of the Dust Bowl or the Depression or World War II or any of that, where you might need something so you don't throw anything out. And so there's these things that linger that we don't even have an actual connection to, really.
Right.
And so if we had been able to go back and talk to your mother or your grandmother, we could have found language for that, if we dug just a little bit, we could have found, well, there was rationing. And so, we were very careful not to throw anything out, or, we just kept parts. My grandfather kept parts for cars because tires and all this stuff were hard to get. And so that kind of things like that get passed down sometime. In this generation, we're able to go get tires. There are plenty of tire stores along the way. My mother, there's a Reese's open 24 hours a day where I can get flour if I want it.
Right. Right.
And those things are passed down, and then the generations down, they're still doing that behavior or that habit or that thought pattern, but there's no actual link to the actual thing anymore.
Right. I know. I saw this with my aunt when they were going through my grandmother's stuff. My uncle would throw things they had this big dumpster, and my uncle would throw stuff in the dumpster, and my aunt would go get it.
Right.
And she kept saying over and over again to him. And then this weekend when she was there with us, she would say it again. We would throw something in the trash, and she would just look at, she did not fetch anything out of the trash, which I thought was a big leap for her.
Right.
But she would say to us, can you not recycle that?
Right.
So she's gone from not wanting to throw it away to can you at least recycle it? Because to her, it just was completely irresponsible for them to throw all this stuff in the trash. And I kind of understand that, you know, in our day and age, there's no reason not to recycle. But in this little bitty town, there's no place to recycle. Right. So
the practicality of that was kind of taking over the task at hand.
Yeah, but I noticed that she had a shift from when my grandmother died to now.
Isn't that great? That's good. That's really good that people can identify that. And it's sometimes it takes a little bit to stop and think about that, a little self-reflection, kind of like you did earlier in this exercise. But it can free your mind so much when you find that. And sometimes then after you've done it, you think, oh my goodness, I had no idea I was carrying that around with me. It was so automatic.
Right. So we're running short on time here. So tell everybody how they can reach you if they would like a session. Do you have a web page?
I do. It's Monica Reverie, which is MonicaReverie.com. Or they can call me directly. I do things over the phone, or like we're doing with this. We can do FaceTime or different types of things if you want to actually see, or I do in person. So if they'd like to call, my number is 918-299-8800. And it takes about an hour, maybe, you know, the first time if we need to get to know each other a little bit, maybe a little bit longer, but about an hour.
Well, that's awesome. And I would highly recommend, if you would like to get a tapping session with Monica. I have done one. Tonight was another one, but you can see, I think everybody can see how this is a very simple process that you can go through. And once you learn it, one of the things Monica said to me in my session is, if something triggers you and you're at a dinner, you can actually do it under the table and under your breath and actually move past that situation. So it's a very simple thing to learn, and it's a very simple thing to do. So again, that's Monica Reverie. Is that right?
Right. Monica Reverie is the website.
And we will post her phone number and her webpage with the link to the show if you are interested in contacting Monica. And if you would like to follow me, you can follow me on My Life Redesigned on Facebook and on Instagram and on Twitter. And my website is VickiWashburn.com. So I hope you all have a beautiful, vibrant week. And thank you from A Boomer's Guide to a Vibrant Life.
Host of The Boomer's Guide to a Vibrant Life. Connect with Vicki at www.globalvoiceradio.com. Tune in next week for another edition of The Boomer's Guide to a Vibrant Life on Global Voice Radio, where your message and your voices are heard.